And
That's real.
even when you playing with yourself, God don't play about you.
Oh, you can say that one more time.
Even when you playing with yourself,
Mhm.
God don't play about you.
God, that's my DOG.
Digging you. And if you dig it, I can dig it, we can dig it.
Hey, what's up, guys? I'm Fred,
And I'm Cece.
and this is the Forever Hall podcast, where we have real life conversations about a number of topics, all rooted in love, faith, and authenticity. And today is our inaugural episode numero uno. And so we got a lot in store for you here today. We want to make sure you guys knew a little bit about us, who we are. So we're going to talk about how we first met, when we fell in love, when we got married, what led us to creating the Forever Hall podcast, and most importantly, what the word forever actually means to us. Now, before we dive into all that and tell you what we're going to do, we're also going to tell you what we're not, right? So we are not relationship gurus or therapists. So we don't have no PhDs. We're not licensed in any way, shape, or form. We are not going to tell you guys what you should do. We're not going to be talking about 5 ways to the perfect marriage or 3 steps to a better life. That's not us.
Mhm.
And most importantly, we are not perfect. I'm going to say that one more time. We are not perfect by any way, shape, or form. We put our pants on every morning just like everybody else. We have ups, downs, ins, outs, just like everybody else. But one thing that is for certain is that this is a forever hall. So what's up, babe? How you feeling?
I am feeling great. I'm really excited.
Okay.
This has been in the works for months, and so
Hmm.
it's just like a dream to finally be able to shoot our first episode.
Absolutely. It always feels good when you have all this preparation for something and then you finally put it into action. They say proper preparation prevents poor performance. So hopefully we do a good job here with what we're stewing over for this podcast, the Forever Hall. But shoot, let's just dive right into it. Tell us a little bit, about yourself and just kind of how we met.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'm originally from Minnesota. I
Okay.
grew up in Minnesota for like 20 years.
Shout out Burnsville.
And so me and my son, Maceo, had moved back to Kansas City when he was 3. And for a couple years, I was just trying to figure it out. And maybe about 2 or 3 years after moving here, I really got very intentional on like my future. I knew that I was ready to be a wife. I knew that I wanted more for my son. I really wanted my son to have a stable father in his life. And so I started fasting, I started praying, I started doing the relationship goals, devotional, and going through all that. And I really was just being very intentional of just saying, like, God, like, I'm just so ready. But also in that, after I did all of the fasting and everything, I hopped on Tinder, you know?
What?
So I'm like, I was very ready, but I was also still playing, right? But it's amazing because God will meet you where you're at, right? And
That's real.
even when you playing with yourself, God don't play about you.
Oh, you can say that one more time.
Even when you playing with yourself,
Mm-hmm.
God don't play about you.
God, that's my DOG.
And so then we was on Tinder. Well, I was on Tinder. Well, you were obviously on Tinder too, but we were on Tinder and I was just kind of swiping. And I saw this guy with like this really great smile.
Hmm.
So I swiped right. And then do you want to take over?
Yeah, for sure. And I'm actually just kind of parallel sandwich this thing together. So it was the summer of 2020. We're in the thick of the pandemic.
Mhm.
Some call it a bandemic. If you know, you know. And honestly, I was at the exact opposite point in my life at that point in time. Like I was in full blown player mode. I'm on Tinder actively. Swipe right, swipe left, swipe right, swipe left, just anything for a little tenderoni on Tinder. You know what I'm saying? If I could be honest, right? And so, you popped up on my feed there, and then I, swipe right. I obviously slid into those DMs. I think your name at that time was like CC taught you, and I'm like, "What you teaching us out here, CC?" And you like, "What you trying to know?" I said, "Okay, well, this might really be a little tenderoni." And then she like, or then I'm like, "I'm trying to see what it takes to make you smile." And then from there, it was a done deal. If you
Mhm.
know, you know. No, but so we swipe right, right, and then I mentioned going on like a scooter date, like the little electric scooters downtown. We met up at Union Station, kinda did our thing there, and, we really hit it off. We had some really great conversations, had a really good time. I think you broke a nail and you was still engaged with me, so I'm like, "Yeah, she's definitely feeling the guy for sure."
Yeah.
And, so yeah, I mean, from there, we really hit it off. Has, like I said, really great conversations. You told me a lot about your life and things that you've been through and, were going through, what you wanted out of life. And I know for me at that point in time, I'm like, it honestly was like, "Wah, wah, 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 wah," because I was still kind of in that player mode. But when you started telling me, the things that you really wanted, it's like, oh, wait, this sounds kind of wifey potential right here, right? Which was a little bit different than what I was actually intending on, right? But I think that was like the initial moment for me where, God showed me that like, okay, this might be, you know, something more than what it is that you're doing. So go ahead. Where so after scooters, then what?
And at the end of our first day, as we were, like, going back to our cars, you was like, "Yeah, this was a really great day. Actually, it was perfect. It was too perfect, so I might wait a couple days to call you." And I'm like, "Okay." Whole time you was running game on me, but
Yeah, if
that's
you know, you know.
okay.
If you know, you know.
But I was like, "Wait, whatever." And literally, we end up talking that night, and we talked every day since. If we weren't on the phone, we were FaceTiming. We weren't FaceTiming, we were at each other's house. We would, like, flip a coin to see, like, who was going over each other's house
Mhm.
because we just wanted to be with each other, like, all the time. And it was a pandemic, so you really couldn't go too many places
Right.
but each other's house. But yeah, and then we decided to go on a little weekend trip,
Little vacation
little vacation before we
ish, vacation-ish.
vacation. And then we went to Branson, which was, like, 3 hours away, and we stayed there for a weekend. We had a ball. We did, like, go-karts, fully masked, of course,
Mhm.
but we did go-karts, and we went to a really nice restaurant, found my favorite crab cake place.
Fire crab cakes.
Oh, I have not ate a crab cake that's been okay, I digress. But yeah, so then we just spent that weekend, and then on our way back from Branson, we had just solidified that we're gonna do it. There's no talking, like, we in a relationship.
Mhm. Yeah, it's like, that ride back was really like, "All right, we're really gonna do this thing, right? We're gonna see where it goes." Like, we weren't at that forever moment yet, but it's like, "Hey, we're gonna officially be together and, see where life brings us," right? And I think that that's really good because sometimes it just takes that leap of faith. I feel like in the world that we live in today, like, a lot of people prolong that conversation, right? Like, is this a real thing? Is this not really a real thing? But no, we knew at that point or just along that ride home that we were together,
Yeah, we
right?
wasn't trying to just be talking.
Mm,
If we not talking, I'm like you was like, "No, we're together, we're in a relationship."
mhm,
And that
100%.
was really assuring too, cause yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Fast forward though, we moved in together. We were dating for about a year or so. It was actually our 1 year anniversary that I decided to drop down on one knee. If you know me, it wasn't that far 'cause I'm kind of short. But that was an experience in itself. We went to a restaurant downtown, Bristol. It's like a high-end seafood place where, we got seated at the table, had some slight conversation. I told her like, "Hey, I'm gonna run to the bathroom real quick, I'll be right back." And so, I went to the bathroom. I hopped in one of the stalls and really had a heart-to-heart moment with God. Like, you know, I'm like, "God, please, if she's it, like, if there's any reason that I should not drop down on one knee for this woman right here, like, let me know. Like, start flickering the lights or flush the toilet or something." So, he didn't do any of those things. So, I really made a commitment with God at that time. I said, "Okay, well, since, you're not saying no, that must mean yes, right?" And so, I just told God that, I'll be serious about this and drop down on one knee and, ask her to marry me. And so at that point, once I got my bearings back together, back in my suave mode, I went out. I talked to the hostess at the front desk and I'm like, "Hey, like, I'm actually about to propose to my future fiance. Like, can y'all help me out with that? Is that something that we could do?" And they're like, "We got you. Like, we do this on the regular." And I'm like, oh, okay, well, if I was ever looking for a sign from God, like for some help about this, like this is it. And so they took the ring, we came up with this strategy of like bringing out the ring whenever we get our dessert silverware, the dessert and the dessert silverware. And so, I get back to the table, have some good conversations. Honestly, it was kind of a dull, time. Whole time I'm kind of sweating bullets internally. But like I think our conversations were just very like, oh yeah,
It was
one
very regular
year.
because we spend so much time together. And yeah, we just was having just a regular, like a good time conversation, like what we how we usually are when we go out to eat.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, just
I
very
was
casual.
none the wiser, okay? I did not have an inkling that you were
And so then, the time came where they had brought out the desserts, they put the silver on the table. Waitress, she gave me the little sign that which, that it was all good. And so then that's when I started to get real deep. You know, I was like, "Well, this night is actually really special." And it's like I almost felt like the lights begin to dim and like a spotlight got placed on me for this moment that I was about to embark on. At least that's how it felt for me, right? It probably wasn't like that at all. Like it probably was babies crying in the background and stuff like that. But that's at least how it felt for me. And whenever you had unraveled your silverware to, eat the dessert, initially, like you didn't even see the ring. So I'm like, oh, okay, well, just give it a minute, right? And then boom, you saw it and you're like, and I'm like, yeah, this night is very special because, and I begin to drop down on one knee and I hear a lady in the background. She's like, oh my gosh. So at that moment I knew like, this is it. This is the moment. And I'm like, I took your hand and I'm like, will you marry me? And you like, and I'm like, all right, just give it a moment. Okay. Are you going to say yes? And you like, yes, yes. And I'm like, yeah, you better say yes.
with.
After all this stress I done went through, that better be the words that came out your mouth, Gary. But all in all though, that was, probably one of the most memorable and most special moments of my life. First and foremost because, um, I don't think that I've ever, had that sort of, like, consecration with God on that type of level and seriousness, like, ever in my life, right? Because I mean, proposing to somebody, like, you're making a forever decision, right? And so, I had so many different emotions because I didn't wanna be wrong, I wanted to make sure it was the right time and all these different things, but, like, where God brought me a lot of comfort at is by just saying, like, "Hey, like, don't worry about those things, like, I got you. Continue to put me first, I got you." And so with me following that lead, that it just makes that moment so much more, surreal for me. It's like I can almost remember, like I said, the lady in the background, like, "Oh my," like, I remember all these different things about it because it was just so special, right? Um so yeah, we got engaged. We were engaged for a year. That was cool. We was dating for a year, got engaged for a year, and then we got
Married.
married.
Yeah.
And yo, Hydrate. Hey, that was cracking too. The wedding was cracking, the reception was cracking, really great times, and then boom, we're married, right? We're newlyweds. Uh, really doing life together, raising Maceo, our son. Really, really great things came about that. I just want to really give you your flowers, if I may, just to say, I really do appreciate you and all the things that you've done thus far.
Thank you, babe.
Love you, babe.
I love you too. Oh, your
All
fine self.
right, before we I had to cut off this, no, I'm just playing. So
No,
yeah, we got married. Obviously, everything wasn't rainbows and butterflies, right? Like, whether it's marriage, whether it's relationships, whether it's casual conversations, like nothing's ever really just rainbows and butterflies.
oh,
And honestly, I feel like it was through some of our ups and downs and like, talking out and talking through a lot of real situations, about a lot of real different topics. We like, hey, we should actually make a podcast from some of this dialogue that we got right here. Like we
yeah.
be having some really fire conversations about a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And so talk to us a little bit more like what made you, you know, um, give the green light on like, yeah, we should do a podcast.
I like when Fred had brought up a podcast, I'm like, no, like I don't want to do that because we're not social media people. We don't really post a lot. Frey posts like 3 times a year, on my birthday, on our anniversary, on our son's
You,
birthday.
you, and Macia.
Yeah. So, like, it's different when you kinda, like, put your life a little bit on the internet, and it's like, I'm in school, we both working, I'm like, "I don't really know." But we were going through a situation where we had to really figure it out together. It was a tough situation. We really had to figure out together, and we were, like, sitting in the car, like, talking, debating. We weren't arguing at that time, we were debating. But you like, "Yeah, like, we gotta figure this out because this is the long haul."
Mhm,
And I'm like, "This is the forever haul."
mm.
And I think that kinda, like, started the ball of me in my head of, like, "Oh," like, I feel like God put that on me to say, and then everything just started to align of, like, a podcast, this is the forever haul, like, and I feel like even just, like, getting through life's moments, we have really good conversations about just a lot of different things that
Absolutely.
never make it anywhere because again, we don't post, and I feel like it could be really helpful, and, like, we're in the season of, like, giving and, being open and transparent, and we really feel like our conversations could potentially help someone.
Yeah, like, I mean, I'm not really to my own horn, but, I'm a, public speaker and,
Yeah.
teacher and do all these different things where, you know, having conversations is something that I feel like I do, pretty alright,
Mhm.
right? And you also have this very, very, very well given, God-given gift of speaking with clarity, speaking with intention, where, people across the board can understand what it is you're saying. So, I think whenever you bring these 2 skill sets and 2, gifts together, like, every single time we just have these really fire conversations. Like, it's been times where we may just have watched a video on YouTube about track and field or some a random conversation. It leads to something where we get really, like, 10 layers deeper, and, we just really felt that it was time for us to not, just not have these conversations and they just go in vain, but to, actually record them and maybe even, allow other people to see because there may be things that they could take away. Again, we're not here to tell anybody, what to do or how to be perfect or be better or anything like that, because by no means are we that in any way, shape, or form. But, sometimes you never know the things that you may hear that may strike up an idea within you, or that may, strike up an idea for your relationship, or just anything. So we just felt like it was something that God put on our hearts to do, and we have to be obedient, right?
Always, always, yeah,
And so,
and I think it's really important to, like, build community as well.
mhm,
Like, there are gonna be like-minded people out there or people that are maybe searching for something that we went through, and just to have someone or have an outlet that you can kinda relate to, like, that's all we wanna do is be, like, a vessel,
mm,
you know what I'm saying?
absolutely.
So, yeah,
Yeah. One thing that I love the most, especially about just, the creation of the Forever Hall, was that conversation where you said that, I'm like, well, we in this for the long haul. And you like, no, this is the Forever Hall. And like that word forever is a word, ain't it?
it's a
It
word.
is a word. And so I actually took the liberty of looking up the Oxford Dictionary definition of the word forever.
Okay.
And according to Oxford, whoever that is, or wherever that is, it says that it is for all future time, for always. So, with that being said, I just want to know, like, what is your definition of the word forever?
When I think of forever, I think of, like, God loves us forever, right? Good, bad, up, down, like, we are still loved forever
Forevermore.
and given grace and mercy. And I feel like forever is such a long time, you can't even fathom how long that is,
Mhm.
but it is, like, eternal.
Absolutely. No, I agree 1000% with you. Like when I hear the word forever, it does take me back to, when we were at the altar and we were giving our vows and, we're saying for sickness and health, for in and outs, ups and downs. Shout out to Jason because he has some words for us in there. But really what we did was I mean, although we were at the altar spiritually and symbolically, we were standing before God, right?
Mhm.
And we are saying, God, through everything that we go through, we are promising and making a covenant with you that we're gonna be one spiritual flesh,
Right.
right? That there's nothing that could separate us. There's nothing that could tear us apart and make us, stray away from each other. And so, when I think of the word forever, I instantly go to the word covenant because we made not only a covenant with ourselves, but with each other, but we made a covenant with God. And I think that why we've been so um, successful, as what success is determined by us, right, in our lives and in our marriage, is because we've always kept God first.
Mm.
And so, and the only way that we can continue to grow and continue to be better, do better is by having God first and allow Him to direct our steps. When we say forever, that's forever is a long time. That's that
That's it. No.
we don't want nothing that ain't forever, God. We want you.
It.
But yeah, no, when we think of forever, man, is definitely um, through it all. It actually reminds me of a movie that I just recently watched. I was telling you about the long walk.
Yep.
Yeah. So if y'all ever haven't seen The Long Walk, it's definitely a kind of bloody, kind of gory, but I mean it's definitely a great watch. Essentially, it's about a group of people who they sign up for this competition to win, a ton of money. But essentially, what they have to do is they get on this road and with like military, you know, supervision,
Mm.
and they have to start walking in one particular direction. And you can't walk less than a certain speed. You can't walk off the track. You can't stop to go use the restroom. Like you can't literally do it. You have to continue to walk. And these people were walking for days, right? And it's like if you stopped walking or if you didn't abide by the rules, right? You got off the track or slowed down or had to take a break. Like the military would literally like
Unalive
shoot you,
you.
unalive you. Right. Gotta say those things, don't we?
Yeah.
But, but they would literally do that, and, you know, it just makes me think about marriage, Like, I mean, it's not as, bloody and gory and, life or death like that, but, you know, this walk that we have to walk together as one flesh is gonna be a long time.
To the very end.
There is no end, right? Forever, right? And so within the movie, there's it's literally days and days that, people had to continue to walk, like they're literally trying to sleep and walk at the same time. Like some people, were hurting their ankles and had got too slow, so then they got unalived, right? And so when I think about those things, it's just like, man, they had to have the mindset that they would literally walk forever
Mhm.
if that's what it came down to.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, I think when it was down to the final 2 people, they were almost at, like, 2 weeks in of just consistent walking, right? And in my head, I'm thinking like, "Man, that type of mindset, that type of willpower to be able to, right foot, left foot for weeks, that has to be the type of mindset that we have to have with each other for doing life together, right?
Yeah.
Like again, it's not as dangerous or it's not as, life or death, right? But whenever we do get in disagreements or we do get in arguments or we don't see eye to eye on certain things, it's times where we don't really like each other for a little bit, right? But number one, with keeping God first, right?
Mhm.
And number two, having that mindset that this is the forever hall,
Yeah.
right? It always brings us back, and I think not only does it bring us back, it makes us better than we were before.
Yeah. And I think it definitely like creates humility
Mm,
in our relationship
that's it.
because we, you know, to put your pride aside and be humble and sometimes, say, "Oh, well, you got it." Or to say, "I was wrong." Or to, be the person that takes that step to like, the first step of reconciliation. Like you have to have something in you that that fire that stays in you to want to do that
Mhm.
every time.
Every single time.
Yeah.
But this is good.
Yeah.
This is good. I'm really glad we did this. Whew. Got the first episode out the way. Got off our chest. I know this is something that's definitely outside of our comfort zone. Again, we're not social media people. I know I'm a big self critic for sure, and things like this, although we can do it, God's given us the gift to do it. It's always been something that we don't necessarily do, but now we do.
Now we
So,
do.
so hopefully, you guys enjoyed our conversation, learned a little bit more about us. Hopefully, you guys stay on this forever journey with us as we, have a lot more real conversations about a ton of different topics. And don't forget to like and subscribe. Tell a friend. This is something that may blow up, may not, but all we're gonna do is listen to God's guidance, and He's gonna see us through regardless. You
Amen.
know, one thing as we let y'all go, because we definitely appreciate y'all, is just always remember that it's not a long haul; it's
It's
forever.
forever. Thank y'all so much for tuning in to the Forever Hall podcast. If you enjoyed today's conversation, be sure to like, subscribe, and connect with us on all of our socials. Until next time, keep choosing love, faith, and authenticity.
I ain't even tryna